Welcome everybody to Unicorn Light Tarot, whether you are returning or whether you just clicked on this video or whether you are a recent subscriber. It is so amazing to have you here. It is during the day here on Sunday in Santa Fe, and we are going to get you a amazing reading. As always, we try to get you so many different things going on. We've got a little healing candle here with healing oil. For this one, I've specifically blessed this today. What we're doing, I've blessed this candle with the energy of reception, with being open, with feminine energy. Those are traits that we associate with the feminine. That's what we're going to be dealing with today. But feel free to go ahead and either use it as a release candle or bringing in more abundance and healing, because it's set up for that too, however you want to use it. So today what we will do is what is your intuition telling you, and creating a magical slash abundant, because for me they're one and the same, mindset. Now this is a very specific topic that I want to talk about, because for those of you who don't know, and if you do, that's wonderful too. I also set up beautiful courses for people. There's a Beyond Fear course. It's a 3-day course that's completely free. I set it up that way so it would be not too much time for anyone to devote to this, and also completely free. If any of you have ever suffered from any kind of energy splurge, we call it anxiety or depression, it gives you support, it gives you some context, some help. There's also some practical advice and things that you can take to the next level should you have time or want to. We also have the 21-day abundance, bringing in abundance, working with the unicorns. And let me tell you, that is nothing woo-woo about that. It's an amazing course for getting back to your authentic self, being real badass, pulling in the magic of your inner child, and being free in this world. So that's also down below. All of these links are down below. That's $33 at the moment, and people are absolutely loving that. So this course that I'm about to come up with, that I'm in the middle of, and I'm about to, give to you as the public, is an intuition course. It's going to be sort of a beginner's guide to working with your intuition, and for people who have been working with their intuition. It's not just a beginner's guide really, but it's also going to be working with oracle cards too. And I really truly believe that everything that you learn in this oracle, working with the oracle, can actually be applied in many, many different ways across the board for manifestation and bringing in abundance and in a magical mindset. It's about working with the feminine and the masculine in the abundance mindset, because we often get caught up in the masculine mindset when we're setting and moving toward our goals, and then we really do not allow ourselves to be open to receive. So this course is all about that. So in honor of that, and that will be coming out at the end of September, and moving into what are we in August? I can't even. Does anybody even know what the day is these days? Are we in August? I think we went into September. We're coming out of the end of September, the beginning of October. This intuition course, grounded in and around getting into your own intuition and working with oracle cards. And today, again, we are doing what is your intuition telling you, creating a magical mindset. And magical is synonymous with abundant mindset. So we have our 3 cards here. We have our 3 piles. And I wanted to choose energy, again, that would be encompassing of the divine feminine, being open, being receptive. So we have Master Jesus, forgiveness. I mean, this is probably the most ascended master of being open. There are many more, of course, but I always appreciate Jesus for being completely open. So that's your pile 1. Then we have Mercury, open communication, of course, for pile 2. And then Earth, divine feminine. We've got Gaia, earth connection for pile 3. So as always, take as much time as you need. The timestamps are always down below if you need to go off and meditate. It's always great to get into complete alignment with these sessions, just because we're dealing with many different things here, not just giving you a reading, but hopefully giving you some activation and some healing and some practical advice and everything that we try to do here on Unicorn Light Tarot. But we will be working with the Divine Feminine and being receptive and giving you some information about how you can work with your intuition a little bit better, how you can learn to trust it, how you can revise your process just a little bit so it becomes more effective and have that effortless life that you want. All right, so let's go ahead and move Mercury and Gaia out the way for just a little bit. And if you chose Pile 1 and you chose Master Jesus, then what is your intuition telling you? Creating a magical and, again, abundant mindset. We also have our healing candle here. It's also set up really very much for being open and receptivity too. That's what we're doing here. So if you chose Master Jesus, let's get in to your intuition and get you some information. So we're going to put Master Jesus here. So again, the forgiveness will come in, and as we get into the oracle cards, I'll bring in some tarot a little bit later. But your first card is New Beginnings and number 1. And then I had to have some dragon energy here. Air and water dragon helps you to connect to higher frequency. Trust your intuition, develop your psychic abilities, be open to enlightenment, express your inner song. Absolutely. So there's a few things going on here, but let's get all your cards out. Where are you being called to journey to? All right, so this is your new beginning coming in here. And the Holy Grail, the Grail Knight, romance, illusion, seeking the sacred. And we have number 6 here. So there's a few different things going on here, and it's great energy. You definitely have your new beginnings. For you, Pile 1, trusting your intuition is about letting go of the illusion of taking on other people's energy and really figuring out what it is, who it is you are versus the energy that you've taken on. Your new beginning will probably look very different to what you thought it would. It's a new beginning from your past. So yes, forgiveness needs to happen, but it needs to happen on a bigger, brighter level. There needs to be a forgiveness for yourself. The one thing that I'm getting is the balance between the masculine and the feminine for you is asking to come into play. You actually have inherently a beautiful intuition. You may have had red flags before with things that have happened, but nothing that's happened in your life has been a real surprise when you look back on it. You can understand where it came from. All right, I didn't act on it, but I knew it was going to happen. But your new beginnings is asking you to bring in the essence of the feminine in a brand new way. The way in which you've moved forward, Pile 1, is that I'm seeing is that you've moved forward in a specific way where you've had the logic of the masculine, you've had the strength of the masculine, and you've built this sort of masculine kind of world around you so you can be strong. Now, that masculine world turned out to be a little bit of a wall. Now, there's nothing intrinsically wrong with that because that wall actually protected you from energies that were around you that you didn't know how to deal with yet. So it did work as a protecting factor. So nothing said there. That all works. But at the same time, that energy that created that wall didn't really allow you to move beyond the sense of illusion that all that energy sort of created in and around you. You didn't really get to sort of encompass and then integrate your intuition to a degree that you could, so it moves you up in the frequencies that you want. So if you're and again, I always say with these sessions, they do feel like sessions, these readings, these power readings, even if this is resonating with you, you might be at different sort of stages of this. If you are in the stage of constantly looping round of like feeling as though you're high frequency and then sort of going lower and then high, and sort of these jumps, these leaps and bounds where you have this day of ultimate joy and you want to be able to keep it, and then other things seem to keep coming back in and you can't keep the realness of that high frequency, then it's about the balance between the masculine and the feminine. So what you've done is you've set up the masculine very, very well. You are all set there. So you're being asked to set in the reception, allow in the receptivity of the the divine feminine. That's what you're being asked to do. Now, in the divine feminine, you'll be able to see the illusion of the masculine then, and you'll be able to move beyond the masculine that you've brought in and shift that up to the divine masculine also. Those higher frequencies are there for you. You like we've said, you've come into them a little bit. Let's give you one more card here, and I'm going to bring in your tarot in a minute. You've come into them certainly, but there's been sort of a little bit of a whiplash going backwards and forwards, but there's lessons for the divine feminine to come in now, and it's also a matter of balance, how much you take and how much you give. You've been a giver most of your life, and people have taken. Here we go. So it's teaching and learning here, and you've got the number 57, if that means anything to you too. So it's a sacred number, and it's really about the essence of pulling backwards and forwards, when to move forward, when to move backwards, when to allow. And that's what your intuition, the next step of your intuition is trying to teach you. What you learn, you can teach, but you have to have that balance coming in. Now you understand this, the sacred and the journey and the path in which you are connected to in this lifetime. That can be very clear for you, but that can also be quite frustrating, because you start on the path and you know where you're going, and then you take the masculine energy with you, but the receptivity isn't there as much as it could be. So when you're not open to receiving the next level, you get frustrated and then start doubting yourself. So bringing in the masculine and the feminine here, to work with your abundance and to work with your intuition, and really allow your intuition to do what it is that it is supposed to do. So the first thing is to the Master Jesus forgiveness here. You are in a path of light, of love and forgiveness. That's obvious. Father healing is possible at this time. So there is an element there of why you've used the masculine in your life and how it has worked. You may not have been seen exactly for who you were. So when you instilled the masculine viewpoint and the masculine way to move forward, you got a certain amount of respect, this, that, and the other. But none of that was necessarily on your own terms. Now, there's nothing wrong with the masculine. The masculine is all about action. It's kinetic energy. It's absolutely wonderful. But to bring in the results that you want and to reach that level of that higher frequency and keep at that level of the higher frequency, it's absolutely not about control anymore. It's about letting go and pulling in the alignment. It's about working with the divine feminine, your feminine aspect of self. This has got nothing to do with gender, whether you're watching this if you're male or female. It's about being in touch very much with that female energy and what needs to be healed there. It's about honoring that female energy. It's about the first and second chakra too, your creative chakra, moving into that energy in those two chakras, because when they are activated to the extent that they could be, that's when your creativity comes alive. If you think you're creative now, which you are, wait, that provides you with your new beginnings. Those provide you those two chakras coming in that will be activated by activating your divine feminine in a huge way. Now, the way in which you've been using your masculine, you're moving up to the divine masculine, but the way in which you've used your masculine has somehow knocked out a little bit of the divine feminine. So in order to get back into that balance, you're really going to have to bring in that divine feminine for you to get that balance, and then it'll automatically balance. Now, none of this is really a huge deal. It's just a little sort of it's just a little, a switch, a tweak in perception here for you to move forward properly, and gain that sort of alignment and pull in that manifestation and abundance that you are looking for with the greatest amount of ease. The way in which you're trying to do it is you're still trying to do it from the masculine sense. It's not going to work, unfortunately, and you're always going to be working too hard to bring in that energy. The female energy is I think of it as loosey-goosey, but it's about letting go and it's about going with the flow. Nothing masculine inherently about that, but again, we need both in order to move forward. So let's see what we have here. Okay, so the King of Wands, absolutely. Now, this truth, this communication that you have, again, it has worked. in the past, that the masculine energy that you've utilized has absolutely worked for you. Nothing said against you there. One more here. Judgment, absolutely. But the way in which you want to move forward with total power needs to come back again to the feminine. Everything that you have learned from the masculine has been learned and integrated. Absolutely. Again, moving up into the divine masculine and pulling in the feminine and the divine feminine, maybe, sort of an onslaught of it initially, but then it will balance out. And then, the seeking, again, the romance, the illusion, whatever it is that you, even when you're looking for those of you, again, this is always a general reading, but for those of you who are looking for your significant other or feeling them coming in, there's still a masculine energy of when are they coming in? What is this happening? Like, really, there's a difference between taking note of, I'm connected to this energy, I've dreamt about that energy, and really pulling that in a sort of romantic, beautiful way. And rather bringing in that energy, there's another way, that bringing in that energy, trying to control it. I feel them. When are they coming? What's happening? Constantly looking over your shoulder, any effort that you put out there, waiting for the results to come back in. And if they don't in that way, then again, you feel a little bit lost. So it's really just about the process of letting go and the intuition of when to act and when not to. You're very good at setting up the initial getting out there and again doing the masculine stuff, the kinetic energy. And also patience, pile one. Patience. Time is non-linear. It's absolutely man-made. Let it come to you. It's, not control, alignment. And the alignment cannot come from the masculine sensibility. It must come from the feminine and the divine feminine. And again, seeing through the illusion of the power of the masculine, it's gonna provide you, once you start working with the divine feminine in a way and balancing out, you will actually be able to work with the divine masculine a lot better and a lot healthier than you had done before. Instead of using it as protection, you can use it as a way of clear communication. But again, tapping into that modality of the beautiful divine feminine so you can speak from your heart. Communication will shift. Your sense of illusion will shift. You'll be able to see through things very, very quickly. Now, you may be able to see through things very quickly right now, but you might be getting disheartened by that because you're relying on the masculine. You want everything sorted. You want the world to be okay. Why isn't it okay? Why are people going down the rabbit hole? Why are people not having empathy? Why? Why? When we come back into, there's a million different reasons why, but when we come back into the essence of the divine feminine, we see that there is a logic and there is a beauty to absolutely everything, and there is a balance to everything, and we realize it's not up to us to change the world, it's up to us to change ourselves. And you start seeing the beauty before where you saw illusion. And then you're not so obsessed with trying to fix everything or, allowing your energy to get really overwhelmed because, so much darkness is happening out there. There's also a lot of beauty and light. So there's a lot of different things going on here. And I do hope that you come back to, you ascended, you've done all of the difficult work. Every time we've done these readings in the last couple of months, I feel like a lot of people have done the difficult work. This is fine tuning. This is seeing through the illusion. Where you are being called to, your path might look a little bit different from the perspective of the divine feminine. So allow that energy to come in, free flow, and completely wash over you. That intuition to come in. And again, even if it free flows and takes you over for a little while, allow it to do that, because eventually you will balance out. And that's the way that the divine feminine needs to come in a massive way. Go back and figure out how to forgive yourself too. For some of you, again, this is a general reading, but for some of you, there's a forgiveness that needs to, for you, when you realize that you are protecting yourself and you realize that, those walls were up, you need to understand why you had that intrinsically. If you bring in that energy of the divine feminine, there'll be automatic healing for you under those circumstances, and you will be able to forgive yourself and others in certain situations that you went through, because the reason why you were the way you were will become absolutely and completely understandable, and then there will be no need to sort of keep going over these situations. So Let's get you one more message of magic, and this is Making Magic. I love these cards. So let's see what we've got for you here. This one's Calling Your Name. Self-confidence, strong self-belief, and a sense of self-worth. Absolutely. Now, a lot of you have come from the masculine to really come from that essence of self-confidence. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But you're being asked to bring in your sense of self-confidence now from the divine feminine, and that's a fully loaded. And even that phrasing, fully loaded, that's very masculine to me, which is great. But now a well-rounded sense of confidence that can never be taken from you. Your sense of confidence comes in and out. Like almost like the microphone is on sometimes it's off. This is a grounding and self-confidence of pure balance that can never be taken from you. And it's a sense of self-belief and self-trust and innate beauty in oneself, honoring the uniqueness and the adventure and the joy, which brings you to the next level of the frequency that you're trying to hold on to. And if you're not at that frequency where you're at the 5D completely yet, then this will bring you there. That absolute understanding of alignment versus control, that absolute beautiful understanding of the divine masculine and feminine working in absolute tandem to bring in that effortless life that you want. So I hope this resonated with you, Pile 1. If it did, do let me know in the comments. Also feel free to give me a thumbs up, and if it resonated, do feel free to subscribe. It does help the channel, and we would love to have you here at Unicorn Light Tarot. All you have to do is hit that bell icon and you will be notified anytime a video is up and running. And do remember, there are several courses down below that can help you in any way, shape or form, and the new intuition course is coming out at the end of this month, so there will be more about that too. So there's more ways to work with beautiful source energy and to work with me, and some of it is completely and totally free, so I urge you to take advantage of it. All right, Pile 1, until we meet again, you stay safe and sane. I'm sending so much love and light to you. Bye-bye. Okay, my Pile Tours, if you chose Mercury and open communication, this is for you. Your messages, what is your intuition telling you, and specifically about creating a magical and abundant mindset. So we're going to get you some lots and lots of ideas and advice and some help and whatever it is that you need. So we're going to start off with Mercury with your open communication. And let's see what we have for your oracle cards. Rebirth. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Number 16. And then we have the pink dragon, brings firm love that resets your karmic balance. See all of your cords, see all of your cards. See all of your cords dissolved by transcendent love. Enjoy your freedom. Look for the divine around you. Oh, I love these cards already. This beautiful energy here. Then we have you're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. And then we have fear as your last card. So there's a few things going on here. There's some beautiful energy. I love new beginnings are great, but a rebirth is really identifying where you come from and how you are moving forward. So there's a complete sort of 180 for you happening here. This idea or this understanding of how you work with fear, who you are when you let fear in. And again, we're working with the masculine and feminine energies here and really getting back to rebalancing so you can live an abundant life and just pull in the magic and abundance that you want. Now, for those of you, and this is a general reading, for those of you who are feeling like they've not been in their body, like their spirit is sort of like hovering, you're feeling a little bit lost, you're not feeling as grounded as you normally are, or for people who just don't naturally feel that grounded, this is about like sort of enlisting the physicality of the masculine to help you with that. And that's something that you've always done. Now, the rebirth for you is bringing in the divine feminine. Now, it's kind of strange to say, but bear with me here. You will actually be far more grounded if you take in the divine feminine energy a little bit more than the divine masculine. That's going to actually pull you back into yourself. Because what's happening is, for you, pile two, is that you're not being able to get grounded because you don't have a sense of your own authenticity. You sense it, you know where it is. That's incorrect. You sense it, you know where it is, and you can access it at certain times. But then there's other times that, you know, when there's energy in and around you, if there's strong energy in and around you, you'll go ahead and doubt yourself. And this doubt over time has caused you to sort of come out of your body a little bit. So there's going to be some healing that's going on in your body too. For any of you, and again, this is always general, so this may only be for a few of you, but for those of you who have been like having stomach upsets or digestion issues recently, first, second chakra stuff, even reproductive things going on here, a little bit of sort of flux energy in and around that can be cleared up by bringing in the divine feminine. Now, this happened a little bit. We talked about flooding in the divine feminine in pile one, because sometimes that's what we need to do to rebalance. There's been a heavy onslaught of masculine energy here too, to try and figure out what it is that you want and how to get there. And I feel for a lot of you, there's been this loop. You have a very clear understanding of who you are. You have a very clear understanding of where you want to go. It's just not getting off the ground in a way, or happening the way in which you want. This idea of just putting yourself out there and letting go is, it's not that it's beyond you. It's very much not beyond you. You love the idea of it, and you set up your stuff to do it. You absolutely do it. You sort of let in the inner feminine a little bit. You let it trickle in, and that inner feminine is more than enough energy to bring you to where you need to be, so you can sort of let go, come into the energy of let go. But then what you do is you go back into the masculine. The divine feminine sort of flutters away a little bit, and then the essence again of sort of trying to control, but mainly like feeling lost because you're expecting the results, the kinetic energy, because you're moving forward, you're not seeing the results. So the receptive energy needs to come back. It needs to flood in again in the same way that we said for pile one, although pile one has very different energy here. Let's get you another card. But that's, again, easy for you to do. You've done the work now. You're very knowledgeable about masculine and feminine. We're talking about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. The way in which, if you've been a little bit more fearful, like, I mean, who hasn't, right? But if you've noticed that the fear is coming in it kind of washes over you in a specific way, that's just an indication of a little bit of an imbalance with the masculine and the feminine. It's your sense of like not being able to control the situation, not being able to control the outer, the external, that makes you feel as though you need to be fearful. Now, when you are completely balanced with the divine masculine and the divine feminine tells you not to try and control, to release, to allow, to see the beauty in the broken, to see through and past the illusion of what we consider we need to be doing, and to relax into your own voice and your own authenticity. So if you've been sort of getting these waves of fear that sort of go a little bit deep, and again, this is a general reading, if you're not feeling that, wonderful, go you. And again, I always say with these, even if you are resonating with what's going on in this pile, you might be at different sort of fortes, you might be at different stages of this development. So if you're just feeling as though you're overwhelmed a little bit by fear that's coming in, and it's coming into the point where you're getting a little bit depressed, or you're getting a little bit down on yourself because you're wondering, because you've done so much work, why is this happening? Bear with us. The healing just needs to be done, and then you're feeling other physicalities that's coming up with the stomach problems and other things. Could be throat too, for some of you who've had throat issues, because it's open communication. This is all coming back to alignment, so you can come back into alignment with yourself, and you can understand open communication with authenticity. Pure open communication comes from a direct balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Bringing in that divine feminine will only help you understand the divine masculine more, instead of relying on the divine masculine in order to get you through what it is that you're going through. Creativity, again, you're very creative. A new version of creativity is coming up, though. You don't have a new beginning, you have a rebirth. So your rebirth is absolutely coming in right now with whatever it is that you're doing, whatever project I can feel that you're working on. It's going to lead you to somewhere a little bit new. Maybe not completely unsurprising. You won't be surprised by the direction that you're taking necessarily. I'm also going to get you some tarot cards here for some more information. But allow the journey to take over instead of you taking over the journey. As we said in pile 1, there's a little bit of alignment versus control. Allow in the receptivity of the divine feminine and allow that intuition, your sense of innate intuition, really come in. When that fear starts coming in, bring in that bring in that divine feminine that does not judge, does not try to sort out. The divine masculine is great. It's all right, what do we need to do? X, Y, and Z, or practical. We need to do this, to do that, to do that. We would be nowhere without the divine masculine, without the masculine. But when the fear comes in, when there's a sense of imbalance, bring in the divine feminine. That's the energy that's going to be able to shift the focus of the fear and allow you to show you what the fear is showing you. There is always something for you to learn from this, and the more you learn it, the more you can disperse it. When it comes up again, it's, oh, we've already done this fear. Thanks a lot. Thanks for telling me. I've already got this. So you're already doing it. The overthinking is also happening because you're relying on the masculine, moving from the masculine, pumping it up to the divine masculine, bringing in that divine feminine, getting that balance. When you're completely aligned with your divine feminine, you're not overthinking because you know your intuition is absolutely clicked in. You absolutely know that it's going to happen in divine timing. You know it's coming to you. You've got this. You're listening. You're excited. You're living the dream already, So what do we have? We have the Emperor reversed. Now I think we had the King of Wands reversed. So again, we want to be really clear. Nowhere in this reading should you ever get the understanding that we're being down on the divine masculine or being down on the masculine whatsoever. I know this is reversed. It's just letting you know that this hyper tendency to pull it in to solve the problems is not where you need to be right now. It just needs to be sort of the opposite. It's the divine feminine that's going to solve where you are, bring you up into your next tweak of your perception, bring you into your authentic voice full time, and shift you into that new frequency. 5 of Cups. Absolutely. I really do adore these cards, but I love this card here. She has everything she needs here. She's holding everything she absolutely needs. And even these are waiting for her to acknowledge them. They're right here. All of the knowledge is right here. These are empty though. She's got everything in this. And she has all of the universe, all of source behind her. All of the guides are trying to tell you, you're probably having intense dreams right now, or even like these sort of visions of things. If you go into meditations, a lot of past life stuff could be coming up for some of you right now, because that's for you to click into that knowledge and know why that existed, so you can sort of integrate it into your knowledge and fall forward. So in many ways, you're open and you're receptive in some ways, but there's a part of you that's sort of pulling back on the meditation. It's almost like these two sort of same magnets not wanting to come together, sort of repelling each other. You should be meditating a little bit more. You should be working with this energy. It's right there for you, but there's a part of you that just sort of doesn't want to do it a little bit. But now's the time to really get into that open communication with yourself and allow this rebirth to happen. Now, again, for the stages, some of you might be already experiencing the rebirth, the way in which you work with your creativity, the way in which you work with your karmic balance. Again, the old past life stuff or old stuff not coming up. It's coming up in specific ways for you to integrate that immediate lesson for you to move on, not to go round and round and round. Again, the essence of who you are, the essence of what you're doing is exactly where you need to be be. It's just we want you to have an effortless life, and the way in which you gather that is to pull in all of this divine feminine energy. Let it flow over you in order to balance out. Your intuition will help you see past the illusion, will help you see exactly your next step instead of working with logic as quickly and as abundantly as you have done before, with various but rather limiting results. And again, you'll be able to adopt that divine masculine and that masculine energy in a brand new way. You'll be able to work with it in a brand new way once that divine feminine has been integrated for you to come in. Abundance and magic are absolutely abound here. Abound. Absolutely. I'm being drawn back to this card. And the essence of love too. One other thing that we want to say, that I love the pink in this. You've got some pink energy, bright creativity here, some blue energy here, but it's really about bringing in that self-love, and that self-love comes from bringing in the divine feminine and really understanding your authentic voice and having that voice be a platform for who you are. That authenticity that you are craving, that you want 24/7, 365 days a year, cannot come in without the divine feminine in the way that we're asking you to receive it. And then all is love. So, for those of you who are testing the waters on the outskirts, looking in, knowing that this work is the last thing for you to do, there's nothing to be nervous about. It's literally like coming home. We're asking you to come home. That's it. That's all you need to do. It's not going to be dark night of the soul or anything that, you've done all the hard work already. So if that's the reason why you're resisting, and again, the message could be just for a small part of you, or a small part of you, or a small number of you. But for those of you who seem to be resisting, just go home. Go home to the divine feminine. That's where you live. And then the rest of it will balance out. So we have the triple spiral, listening to divine wisdom and joyfully learning life's lessons. Absolutely. Once the divine feminine is absolutely incredibly integrated in the way that she absolutely should be, then you will get back to the adventure, to the joy, to enjoying your life, to that inner child essence. Inner child essence is connected with divine feminine, also to that level of beauty and trust that you've come into at certain aspects or in certain parts of your life or certain times, but are struggling to keep it within there at a certain level. And that's because there, again, no more control, aligning. This is how you can be that open communication with that loving self that you have and are already. Let in that divine feminine. She is ready for you to come home. So I hope this resonated with you, Pal 2. If it did, feel free to give me a thumbs up, and do feel free to subscribe. It really does help the channel. And also, we just want you here with us at Unicorn Light Tarot. We have a beautiful, beautiful little group here, growing every day, not even that little. But we would love you to be part of that group, and feel free to hit that bell icon too, so you can be notified anytime another video goes right up. And don't forget, there are so many different ways to work with not only this energy, but source energy. Down below, the Unicorn School of Light, the details will be down below. There's several different courses, different price points, including free, for you to work on, to be in and around this energy, to move you forward and get you the support and help that you need. So please feel free to check out the links down below. So Pal 2, you take care. Take care of yourself. I'm really excited. Your rebirth is absolutely here if you're not already going through it. Stay safe and sane, and until we meet again, bye-bye. Okay, Pal 3, for those of you who chose Gaia, this is your reading. Again, we are doing today, what is your intuition telling you? And we're also creating a magical and abundant mindset, how we can get you that effortless life that you want. And don't forget, the candle here is set up for receptivity, for being open communication, but it's also set up for healing and love and light. So use the candle for any kind of healing or any kind of release that you feel that you need. All right, let's get going. Mother Gaia, Earth connection. Be mindful of the planet. Come down to Earth and stay grounded. So this is your first card. We've got some oracle cards here, and then we're going to bring in tarot. I forgot the word. Tarot cards a little bit later on. So let's see what we've got here. Patience. We also have the number 2. I'm also feeling that there's love interest 2 coming in, soulmates. There's a little bit of, there's a little bit going on there. So we'll come back to that. And then we have the Lyria dragon, the white gold dragon connects you to the highest Christ light. Develop your causal chakra. Bathe in 9th dimension Christ light. So there's a few different things going on here. Star seed, what lights you up? So definitely star seed and wealth. So this is a beautiful reading. They're all beautiful readings. So this is about, specifically for you, Pile 3, what I'm picking up on is that this is very much about you transcending what it is and who it is that you thought you could become in this lifetime, and making that so much more vivid. So the way in which you will be working with Divine Feminine, I feel as though you're already different energy here from Pile 1 and Pile 2. You've already been working with Divine Feminine. You already know that your savior is Divine Feminine. Now, it didn't really feel like that in Pile 1 and Pile 2. And when I say savior, you know that you were here to protect the Divine Feminine, and that's what you've been doing. I feel as though the energy around this pile is that you've done such a good job of protecting the Divine Feminine, is that you've kept it a little bit at arm's length, but you understand the power of the Divine Feminine, and you're ready to take it to the next level. So for those of you who have picked this pile, you're definitely star seeds or earth angels. I think it's really important to understand what you are and have an element of that information. And then if you, afterwards, what you do with that label is completely up to you. It's about transcending the label of Starseed. But initially, I think it's interesting and it's good for you to know. I've known a lot of Starseeds and a lot of Earth Angels who genuinely did not know that they were, and suffered disproportionately to others who actually did know and knew how to work with their own power. So regardless of where you are, Pile 3, you are Starseeds, whether you are coming into, and we say, you know, in every pile, even if it's resonating, you might be at different stages of this. Even if you're coming into this really profound understanding of being a starseed and feeling the power and also the enormity of what that means. And that beauty of wanting to, there's several different things going on here with the energy of wanting to move forward on a personal sort of level, and also having that collective energy of knowing that there's responsibility on a collective level. And how do you work with that energy? How do you work with that energy and everything that's going on in the external? So the wealth is really absolutely completely within you. And then on top of that, we've got several different things. We've got the love element coming in the fall for some of you. For those of you who have been with me for a while, I'm not big on the whole twin flame thing, because I think that sets people off on a real tangent when it comes to love, and it really takes them in the wrong direction more often than not. So we're going to say a soulmate relationship, but it's a significant relationship that's coming in. So, you know, and this is something that you've been working toward. This is something that you've known that you've wanted. You've also known that part of your legacy here on earth in this lifetime is to learn to be loved for who you are, with your own authentic voice, without having to change or, you know, adopt other people's habits or adopt any kind of habits to kind of this chameleon-like fitting in order to be accepted, which is something, incidentally, Pile 3, you're extremely good at doing. Not that you're not good at being authentic, you are, but you know how to, some of you know how to play a room, you know how to fit in here, you know what to do that, you know when to say something, when not to say something. And, you know, in the true authentic voice, you would just be that same person no matter what. And then the people around you would shift their energy to want to be around you and not the other way around. But this is also something that you're aware of, also something that you've been working on. And for some of you, being the chameleon like is something that you've really been interested in, because it allows you to hide a little bit and observe. A lot of you are visionaries, but you're also observers. A lot of you could be creative in the way that you're writers. So you like seeing things and watching things and being on the outskirts. Life is asking you to step up and get right back in there, though. This is a time for you to get into the fray of things. And to really be honest about what it is that you want. A lot of you have been on the sidelines for a really long time. And while some of that might have worked for you and you've used it to your advantage, absolutely nothing said against you there, pile 3. But how much of it do you think that if you continue to go on, again, this is not going back and saying, oh, woe is me, what have I done? Nope, we don't do that here. Unicorn Light Tarot, we do not go back, we do not judge. Wherever you were, you were there, and that's what you did, and that's perfectly acceptable. But if you go on from now on in just being on the outskirts without really effectively stepping into every aspect of yourself and every aspect of your life, will there be regrets? That's what's being asked to you now. So you're being asked to step up in a brand new way. Now, you're able to do this because you hold a hell of a lot of power, pile 3. Now, you don't always click into that power, and that's why we're here. Because pile 3, this is your time to step up. I actually don't usually do this. I do this in personal readings, and when I'm doing readings, always look at the last one, but I actually pick from the pack. But this is actually calling out to me now. Leadership. I'm actually going to pull that down for you. That's the one that I'm going to pull for you. You are being called to step up into your leadership position. And the way in which you do that is that you're drawing in all the power that you've accumulated from past lives and in this lifetime, and observing how everything is moving, almost like a spider. People can be kind of afraid of you, but you have a huge amount of power. You know how to move. You know how to make your nest in a corner without people knowing that you're there. You're being asked to step into this leadership role in a new way. For those of you who are already in some form of leadership role, you're being asked to step into it completely and totally. Again, at the beginning of the session, did we not say, imagine your life so much more than you thought it could ever be? That's what you're being asked to do. Whatever you imagined yourself, put out there 1,000,000 times more, and that's what you're being asked to step into now. And the expansiveness of it, allowing it to happen, you don't have to figure out why and how it's going to happen. That's why we're saying the Divine Feminine is with you now. Now, the difference between the energy of pile 1 and pile 2 with you, pile 3, is that you actually do know intrinsically so much about how powerful the Divine Feminine is. You really have been connected to that Divine Feminine energy, but you may have not have integrated it in the way that you absolutely could. But the way in which you pulled that back, a lot of you, again, general reading, but if this resonates and this message is for you, then take it. You've pulled that energy back and you've not wanted to integrate it. It's almost like you've wanted to see how far you can go without integrating that final alliance of power for you. It's almost like you're doing the grand kind of finale for you, because you absolutely know your power. You absolutely know you have healing abilities. You have absolute healing abilities. You may have before healed something that doctors told you couldn't have healed. And if you haven't, you have that ability to do that for sure. You have a tremendous amount of focus. And when you focus on what you want, you absolutely get it. Now, for you, you have to learn to focus on the right thing and bring in that energy of the Divine Feminine so you can have that release around what you want. Some of you get too head up and how you're going to get there. And you're not being asked to focus too much on that. You're being asked to focus on what you want and leave the rest up to source. And intrinsically, you know this, but you often get caught up in the masculine. And it's almost like, I can tell you what it is. A lot of you have come in from past lives where you've had the Divine Feminine energies so much around you that you almost, you've been saturated by the Divine Feminine. It's almost like you don't want it as much as you could have. You really come in to work with the masculine energy now. Well, we can tell you now, pile 3, you've worked with the masculine energy to the degree that you can. You've got to trade in that masculine energy for the divine masculine energy. Allow the da-da moment. Da-da, that's a little bit better. If you're going to do it right? Allow the da-da moment to come in with the divine feminine so you can balance out and bring back that energy. You know the masculine. You need to know the divine masculine now. You're not going to be able to know that and have the full power that you want to move forward unless you pull in that divine feminine. So let's see what we have for you. So we've got the 7 of Pentacles reversed. And I'm feeling this one. And we have the 5 of Swords reversed. So yeah, there's this energy of moving forward. And, you know, for you, the way in which your mind works, again, general readings, if this doesn't apply to you, then it doesn't. But, you know, it's almost like when you're learning something, you can do many different things at different times. But, you know, when you're healing, you almost over focus on what you're working on, so you can just get all of that information and move on. Again, the observer, the intense observer. So, you know, these cards are really just, you know, saying to you very much what we've already said. You've done everything you can with the masculine energy. Honestly, you've mastered it. You know how to work with it. You also know how to manipulate with it. You know all sorts of this. Not to say that you've done it, but you have the will. If you wanted to, you could. But you recognize it in other people. You recognize the manipulation in other people. And it makes you mad. It makes you mad, pile 3, and it should. All we're saying is if you weren't capable of it, you wouldn't be able to see it in other people. It doesn't mean that you're doing it. That's why you get mad when other people do it. And you don't stand for that. That's why you'd be great in justice type situations. No one better to stand up and say, hell no, this ain't going on like this, than you. Absolutely. But the other thing of it is that, as we've said, you've reached your time now. And it's now time for you to step into a brand new level of leadership and moving forward in a way that is going to be a brand new rebirth for you. Now, you didn't get the rebirth card because that actually went in pile 2, but there is a rebirth for you. Now, there is a reminder that, you know, working with the divine feminine in this lifetime is very different than working with the divine feminine in other lifetimes. Bringing in that energy with the wisdom that you already possess and the knowledge that you already possess with the divine feminine will bring you into heights, or bring you to heights of authenticity and self-confidence and self-love that you never thought you would be able to get, or at least be able to click into and stay at consistently. And that's why we're here, to give you all this information and to give you this support so you can click into that energy and stay there and not come out of it. So allow the divine feminine to really come in and ground you in a brand new way. A lot of you have been trying to ground physically from the divine masculine, from a very masculine sense of self. Also, your understanding of wealth and what that truly means could have shifted. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be successful. And in this lifetime, with this leadership role, as you move in and as you pull in the divine feminine and acclimate to the energy of the divine feminine in this lifetime, with all the things that you've gone through in this lifetime, you will achieve it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Wealth is freedom. And the more freedom you have, the more you can help other people become free. So, you know, take that off the table. That's wonderful. But there is a new sense of wealth that's coming in for you that you can achieve, and that you have probably shifted into very recently of how you want to be in the level of spirituality that you want to create, and being able to visualize it and stay there. And that for you has become absolutely everything. The success, the physical, the masculine success of that is a byline. It's something that's just going to happen independently, but also very much connected to the wealth of sustenance of who you are in this lifetime. It's about, if you can see that you'll be gaining wealth for being exactly who you are, that's the best way to do it. So working on yourself implicitly will bring you there. And then, you know, the rest of it will just, you know, the actual physical wealth will just come to you. You'll be able to attract it as the magical mindset and the abundance lifetime, the abundance mindset, really, really easily and effortlessly, and ways that you could not have really imagined that it would come in and about. You'd be, I can't even believe that came okay, but that's just crazy. That if I had, you know, written a screenplay, and some of you could be creative writers, you know, if I had written that, that would be nuts. I mean, how would I even set that up in a screenplay? That would be too crazy for a screenplay. But this is the kind of life. There's elements of your life that you've already had that, but that's just the beginning. You're about to open the door and come in on the other side of this complete true abundance and this click into a new reality for you by bringing in the wealth of the old past lives selves of you, of the wisdom of the divine feminine, and how that pertains to this lifetime, how you've been working with the divine feminine in this lifetime. So this is a wonderful reading for you to step into this newfound level of leadership, and it's going to feel different. You're going to feel more grounded. The way in which you feel in your body, you'll feel connected in a brand new way than you ever have before. We've also put out a little activation in Pile 3, so if you're already feeling a little bit more clicked into your body, a little bit more grounded, a little bit more clear, a little bit more clarity in that third eye chakra, we've done a little bit of activating in this particular pile. So go ahead and, you know, drink a lot of water after this session, after this reading, and just sit with the energy. You can journal. A lot of stuff might come up for you too. Let's get you one last, but this is an incredible time for you. It's sort of like reaching a plateau and then really pushing off into the air, but at the same time being more connected and more grounded than you ever have been, more connected and grounded to your own authenticity on your own terms than you ever have been. So it's a win-win-win, as Michael Scott would say from The Office. A win-win-win. All right, so we've got one more here for you. Protection. Strongly protective magic for the family and the home. You do have a sense of magic. You do have a sense of protection. For those of you who have been missing out and do feel to a certain extent the protection, but you're about to feel that intense protection in and around you, almost as if you have your guides all around you all the time, and you can do no wrong if you listen to your intuition. You're coming into that sense of feeling incredibly safe. And for those of you who have had elements of feeling safe but never really felt completely safe in your life, pulling in the essence of this divine feminine now, really allowing it to flow over you and opening up those floodgates and bringing it in on multi-different dimensions, from past lives, from this life, from what's going on in your own heart chakra. This is going to bring you a profound sense of grounding and protection, being in your own space. Again, activation in the throat chakra also, and the third eye. So if any of those are sort of burning away, that can happen too. That's just burning off the old stuff and getting you ready for this energy influx that's coming in. That's going to be absolutely amazing when you pull in that divine feminine. And, you know, if you want to make, you know, a special time of it, absolutely do that. A special meditation, whatever you need to do. But this is a time for you to really feel as though you're walking very much in tandem with your guides. There's been elements of that before, but then you've lost sight of it, and then you feel as though the cords aren't there, and, you know, what do I do next? You're feeling a little bit lost. So for those of you who have been feeling a little bit lost, this moving forward and absolutely walking in tandem and knowing that they're right there without a shadow of a doubt, nothing can go wrong. You've got this. And even if it goes wrong, you've got this, because they're right there. This energy is in and around you, and you're about to be absolutely bathed in it if you haven't already. Again, you might be at different stages, but that's what's to look forward to or enjoy if you're there already. All right, Pile 3, amazing energy, very, very powerful. You already know you're powerful. It's time to show the world how powerful you are. It's time to trust yourself, to get out there, do what you need to do in your own unique, authentic way. So if this resonated, please feel free to give me a thumbs up, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon. Not only does it help the channel, but it really, really does. You know, it's great to just be part of this family that we've got here on our little piece of heaven on the internet. So we just want you here with us, and that would be great. And don't forget, there are links below for the Unicorn School of Light down below. Many different ways to work in and around this energy at different price points wherever you are at. We've got two down there right now, a free and a 21-day course. Both of them would be amazing for you. And also a new one coming up working specifically with your intuition and masculine and feminine. And that will be coming up at the end, and also with oracle cards too. That will be coming up at the end of the month. So stay tuned for that. But the details of the other two are right down below. So feel free to come join us there and get some support and love and whatever it is you need. All right, Pile 3, until we meet again, sending so much love and light to you sincerely and totally from my heart. Stay safe and sane until we meet again. Bye-bye.